Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm going to be testing out the all-new GNB 6S 850 mAh LiPo for 3-inch models. And I know this is going to trigger some people because the LiPo is absolutely huge. You could sit it on its side, but then of course you wouldn't see the lovely AndyRC logo. Thumbs up for you guys who want some GNB AndyRC collaboration going on there. That would be awesome. But if I sit it on its side, then the screws are going to dig into it and it may also affect the tune. So as you can probably tell, it's not ideal conditions here. We have got a vile crosswind that is coming from behind. Now that shouldn't affect any speed results, but I want to see what it flies like line of sight to see if we have any tuning problems. So I'm going to be using PID Profile 2, and that is the PID that I set up for the LiPo that they sent originally with the Diatone GTR 369. So that's this model, and I will link it in the below. So yeah, 3 stands for 3-inch, 6 stands for 6S, and 9 stands for 2019. Anyways, this model actually uses an XT60 connector, so I've had to make up an XT30 adapter because this is using an XT30 connector. But let's get it plugged in and see if I need to alter the tune, because there's actually just 20 grams in it between this battery and the LiPo that they sent with it, which I think was a 650 milliamp 6S. So it shouldn't be too bad. Let's give it a go. Well, there's no problems with ground clearance with that big battery at the bottom. Starting off in angle mode just to make sure that it's not gonna fly to the moon or anything like that, but seems to be fine. Can't hear any oscillations. Let's go for a punch. Wow. That's ridiculous. Do you know what? I think it has even more RPMs than on the other LiPos that I've tried. That is mad, and it's taken ages to come back down. That is just so much power. You know, you're going to be talking maybe 110 mile per hour of upwards thrust. Okay, let's try acro, because we've got that battery now weighing down the bottom. So let's see if I can hear any oscillations, and everything seems fine. It's quite difficult to hear anything with this wind, but I tell you what, this thing is not quiet. Listen at that. That is so loud. So yeah, not exactly gonna be one for the quiet flying times. Oh, it just keeps on going and going. That's amazing. But seems like the tune's okay, at least line of sight. Be interesting to see how the speed is affected by the extra weight, but I'm hearing more RPMs. That doesn't mean that it's going to go faster, but sometimes it does. Wow, that is just nuts. You know, I was questioning this battery. I was like, this is too big. But if we can get similar speeds to the smaller LiPos, but then get crazy flight times, this thing is going to be unbeatable in races, because it just turns on a dime. 5-inch, I think you're in trouble. Yeah, that is really noisy. See if I can get it close to the camera. It gets away so quick. Even in those small blips, it's probably reaching, I don't know, 80, 90 mile per hour and gets away from me very quick. Anyways, this is a lot of fun. Let's bring it in for a landing. Just wonder how hot everything is getting. Oh man, the motors are just lukewarm. But what about the battery? The battery is stone cold. It's absolutely got no heat in it whatsoever, and that is good news. There's no heat in that at all. That's unbelievable. Now I know I've just been flying line of sight here, so I'll have to see what the heat is like when I have landed doing some fast speed runs. But so far, GNB, impressed. So let's take a look at some DVR footage, and oh man, how am I going to explain this? Well, first of all, I've dynamically stretched the 4x3 FPV camera to 16:9. So let's see what speed it gets. So that's 125 mile per hour. So that's 1 mile per hour quicker than it did on the lighter 550 milliamp 6S GNB LiPo, and just like that LiPo, it's consistently hitting that speed, and in the other direction, 125 mile per hour. So what is going on? I think I can explain it, right? I think I can explain it. So it's a higher capacity battery, and if it has got a high C rating, then that means that it can supply more current than the other LiPos that I tested. And because we are running 6S, we don't need as much current to get the same amount of power. So again, 125 mile per hour, absolutely ridiculous. So I think the higher capacity battery, even though it is heavier, it's able to supply more current, and therefore we are able to go 1 mile per hour faster. So that is my explanation of how it is going even quicker, being heavier. As for the tune, didn't need to change the tune whatsoever. That being said, if you buy this model, you are going to want to watch my video of this model, because out of the box it comes with an unflyable tune for 6S. I mean, they may change that. Look at that, 125 mile per hour again. One thing that's amazing about this, and again I think it's down to the capacity, again in both directions. I'm getting good at doing the speed runs in both directions. It's just that this model accelerates so quickly that it gets to its top speed before it reaches the end of the radar system, because it's directional. So once it's past it in the other direction than we are facing now, then it stops recording a top speed. But 125 mile per hour again. But we have dropped voltage to 21 volts, so 116 mile per hour in the opposite direction. But what I was getting at is this LiPo's voltage recovers so quickly. It's going to recover to 22 volts. Look at that. So we got 116 mile per hour, but 22 volts now, and another speed run back to 125 mile per hour. So yeah, this LiPo and this model is legit. But yeah, if you are interested in this combo, then make sure that you get my tune, and make sure it's the Profile 2, which is the PID tune that I made for the heavier LiPo, and the tune is superb for this. But it is not for the faint-hearted. It is a really fast machine. And another benefit of this higher capacity LiPo is, even ragging it like this, I got a 4-minute flight time out of it. So yeah, we're just coming to the end there. I noticed that it's dropped to 20 volts there. So yeah, I'm gonna come in for a landing. But you can see it's recovered again, 21.4. Yeah, and you get a 6 to 7 minute flight time doing freestyle and a 10-minute flight time cruising. Do you know what was also amazing as well? I completely ragged it on that flight, but the battery was stone cold, and that's a good thing because it is heat that damages these lipos. So I think there is going to be good longevity in this battery. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will link to everything in the below if you wish to purchase this setup or the lipo. And if you can afford to do so, I'll also link to my Patreon in the below. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.